Ever wondered why Amish families choose $3,000 buggies over $40,000 cars? It's practical economics. Buggies cost 15 cents per mile versus cars at 75 cents, last 30 to 40 years versus 15 years, and require zero fuel or insurance. For local travel, buggies outperform cars in every metric that matters. Purchase cost reality. The initial investment comparison reveals the first major advantage. Buggies cost 1/8 to 1/3 the price of cars, while providing all the transportation capacity the Amish actually need for their daily lives. A new buggy ranges from $3,000 to $8,000 depending on style and features. The basic open buggy with minimal amenities costs $3,000 to $4,500. The enclosed family buggy with roll-down windows, padded seats, and storage compartments costs $5,000 to $7,000. The premium enclosed buggy with propane heater, battery-powered lights, and custom upholstery reaches $7,000 to $8,000. These prices are for complete, ready-to-drive vehicles requiring no additional equipment beyond the horse and harness. The used buggy market provides even more affordable entry. A 10 to 15-year-old buggy in good condition sells for $1,500 to $3,000, roughly half the new price. The buggy construction using wood, metal, and basic upholstery ages well with maintenance, making used buggies perfectly functional for decades. The depreciation is gentle compared to cars that lose 20 to 30% of value in the first year and 50% within 3 to 5 years. The driving horse costs $1,500 to $4,000 for a trained animal capable of pulling a buggy safely in traffic. Young horses age 3 to 5 with basic training cost $1,500 to $2,500. Mature horses age 6 to 12 with years of buggy experience cost $2,500 to $4,000. The horse represents a capital investment that maintains value. A well-trained driving horse can be sold after years of use for similar price to purchase, making the effective cost nearly zero if the owner eventually sells. The total initial investment combining buggy and horse ranges from $4,500 to $12,000. $3,000 buggy plus $1,500 horse at the low end, $8,000 buggy plus $4,000 horse at the high end. This compares to modern cars costing $25,000 to $45,000 for new vehicles that families actually purchase. The buggy entry cost is 1/5 to 1/4 the car cost, while providing adequate transportation for Amish needs. The financing difference is substantial. Amish families typically purchase buggies with cash saved from income. No loans, no interest payments, no monthly obligations. Young couples save 2 to 3 years accumulating the $4,500 to $7,000 for first buggy and horse. Car purchases almost always require financing, with loans spanning 5 to 7 years at 4 to 8% interest, adding $4,000 to $12,000 in interest payments beyond the vehicle price. The Amish avoid this debt burden entirely. Zero operating costs. The ongoing expenses of buggy ownership are dramatically lower than car ownership because buggies require no fuel purchases, no insurance, no registration fees, and minimal licensing requirements. The fuel cost is literally zero. Horses eat hay and oats, not gasoline. The Amish produce hay on their farms, making horse feed essentially free beyond the labor of growing and harvesting. Even Amish who purchase feed pay $50 to $100 monthly for a working horse's complete diet. This compares to car fuel costs of $150 to $300 monthly driving typical distances. The annual fuel savings of $1,800 to $3,600, buggy $0 versus car $1,800 to $3,600 accumulates dramatically over decades. The insurance requirement doesn't exist for buggies. Pennsylvania, Ohio, Indiana, and other states with large Amish populations don't require insurance for horse-drawn vehicles. The Amish self-insure through community support. If a family's buggy is destroyed in an accident, the community helps replace it through mutual aid. This eliminates the $100 to $200 monthly that car insurance costs, saving $1,200 to $2,400 annually or $24,000 to $48,000 over 20 years. The registration and licensing fees are minimal or non-existent. Some states require small annual buggy registration fees of $10 to $25. Others require no registration at all. The driver licensing is similarly minimal. No extensive testing, no renewal fees every few years, no point system threatening license suspension. This compares to car registration of $50 to $200 annually, depending on state and vehicle value, plus driver license fees of $20 to $50 every 4 to 8 years. The emissions testing doesn't apply to horses despite their methane production. Cars in many states require biennial emissions testing at $20 to $50, and vehicles that fail must be repaired to pass, potentially costing hundreds or thousands of dollars. Buggies exempt from this expense save $40 to $100 annually. The parking is typically free even in areas where car parking requires payment. Most Amish area businesses provide free hitching posts and buggy parking. The communities respect buggy transportation and accommodate it without charging the fees that urban car parking demands, often $5 to $20 daily in cities or $50 to $200 monthly for regular parking. The total annual operating cost advantage is $3,000 to $6,000. Buggies essentially zero versus cars $3,000 to $6,000 in fuel, insurance, registration, and parking combined. Over 20 years, this compounds to $60,000 to $120,000 in savings that never leave the Amish family's pocket. Maintenance simplicity. The repair and maintenance requirements for buggies are comprehensible and achievable by owners using basic tools, eliminating the dependence on specialized mechanics and expensive equipment that car ownership creates. The buggy components are fundamentally simple: wooden body, metal wheels with rubber tires, leaf springs for suspension, and basic upholstery. The drive system is the horse, requiring no mechanical maintenance of the vehicle itself. The most complex systems are the wheel bearings requiring occasional greasing and the brake system using simple lever-operated blocks pressing against wheels. An Amish man with basic mechanical aptitude can understand every component of his buggy and diagnose problems through visual inspection and simple testing. The tool requirements are minimal: a basic socket set, wrenches, hammers, screwdrivers, and grease gun allow complete buggy maintenance at home. The total tool investment is $200 to $400, a one-time expense providing lifetime capability. Modern cars require specialized diagnostic computers costing thousands of dollars, specialty tools for specific systems, and knowledge that takes years to develop. Most car owners cannot perform any maintenance beyond checking fluids and changing wiper blades. The parts availability is straightforward. Local buggy shops in Amish communities stock common replacement parts: wheels, axles, springs, upholstery materials, lights, and hardware. Hardware stores carry generic parts like bolts, bearings, and rubber bushings that fit buggies. The parts aren't proprietary or model-specific. A wheel hub from one buggy often fits another despite being built by different manufacturers. This interchangeability prevents the parts scarcity that affects older cars when manufacturers discontinue support. The annual maintenance cost averages $200 to $400, including wheel bearing service, brake adjustment, tire replacement every 3 to 5 years, and paint touch-up maintaining appearance. The owner performs this work himself, investing labor but no cash beyond materials, or he pays local buggy shop $50 to $100 labor plus parts. This compares to car maintenance averaging $1,200 to $3,000 annually, including oil changes, tire rotations, brake service, fluid replacements, and inevitable repairs as vehicles age. The major overhaul cost for completely refurbishing a 20-year-old buggy is $800 to $1,500, replacing worn upholstery, repainting the body, replacing all bearings and bushings, and installing new wheels if necessary. This work extends buggy life another 15 to 20 years. The equivalent car overhaul, replacing engine or transmission, costs $5,000 to $12,000 and extends vehicle life perhaps 5 years before other systems fail. Speed appropriate. The buggy speed limitation that seems like disadvantage actually matches Amish travel needs perfectly, making the slower pace adequate rather than restrictive for their lifestyle and community structure. The horse-drawn buggy travels 8 to 12 miles per hour at comfortable pace on level roads. Well-trained horses maintain 10 miles per hour steadily for 2 to 3 hours before requiring rest. This consistent pace means a 15-mile trip requires 90 minutes, and 25 miles requires 2.5 hours. The speed seems impossibly slow to modern drivers accustomed to 60-mile-per-hour highways, but the comparison misleads because Amish rarely need to travel those distances. The Amish community structure organizes around 5 to 10-mile radius from the family home. The church district, the geographic area where families worship together, typically spans no more than 10 miles diameter, ensuring all members can reach the hosting home by buggy within 90 minutes. The schools are located within 2 to 3 miles of students' homes, allowing children to walk or ride buggy easily. The shops, markets, and essential services are concentrated in towns within 5-mile radius of most farms. The daily travel patterns reflect this geography. A farmer might travel 3 miles to a neighbor's barn raising, 5 miles to town for supplies, or 8 miles to visit relatives, all distances achievable in 30 to 80 minutes by buggy at 10 miles per hour. The weekly church attendance requires up to 90-minute travel reaching the farthest homes in the district. The monthly visiting with extended family might involve 15 to 20-mile trips requiring 2 to 3 hours each direction, undertaken perhaps once or twice monthly. The comparison to car capability reveals that cars provide speed and range far exceeding what Amish actually use. A car can drive 60 miles per hour, enabling 200-mile days easily. But Amish lifestyle doesn't require 200-mile days. The car's capability to travel 100 miles in 90 minutes is wasted on people whose longest regular trip is 15 miles. The buggy's limitation of 15 miles in 90 minutes matches the actual need, making the speed adequate by definition. Energy independence. The fundamental energy source for buggy transportation, hay and oats fed to horses, can be produced entirely on the farm using renewable solar energy captured through photosynthesis, creating complete transportation independence impossible with cars requiring petroleum. The horse fuel is grass, hay, and grain grown in fields using only sunlight, water, and soil nutrients. A working horse requires 20 to 25 pounds of hay daily, plus 4 to 6 pounds of oats or corn for energy during work. The annual feed requirement is 7,300 to 9,125 pounds of hay, plus 1,460 to 2,190 pounds of grain. This feed can be grown on 8 to 12 acres of farmland, which most Amish families possess as part of their 40 to 80-acre holdings. The energy self-sufficiency means the farm produces its own transportation fuel without purchasing anything from external sources. The Amish farmer plants hay and oats in spring, harvests in summer, stores in barns, and feeds to horses through the year, a completely closed cycle requiring no money and no outside inputs beyond seeds saved from previous year's crops. This independence continues indefinitely as long as sun shines and rain falls, making the transportation system truly sustainable. The car dependence on petroleum creates vulnerability to supply disruptions, price fluctuations, and geopolitical events affecting oil availability. The gas station can run dry during supply crises. The price can spike from $2 per gallon to $6 per gallon within months. The international conflicts can threaten oil supplies, requiring rationing or creating shortages. The Amish farmer faces none of these concerns. His horse's fuel grows in his fields regardless of Middle East politics or refinery shutdowns. Total cost analysis. The lifetime cost comparison reveals that buggy ownership costs 1/5 to 1/7 of car ownership when all expenses are properly accounted over typical 20-year analysis period. The buggy 20-year ownership totals $15,000 to $25,000, including initial purchase of $5,000, horse care at $200 monthly for 20 years, equaling $48,000, annual buggy maintenance at $300